My name's Jen. I want to give you a book review on Recovery by Russell Brand, and I chose the Audible version. The book itself is told by Russell Brand himself. In my opinion, that is one of the main reasons that I chose to do the Audible version. I love his voice. I'm a big fan of him in general. I'm going to talk to you about the contents in the book, a little bit about Russell Brand, at least what I know, and then why I chose to pick up the book in the first place to give you full context so you can leave with a really good review. So, number one, the book Recovery is about Russell Brand's recovery from addiction, sexual addiction, addiction to fame, addiction to alcohol, and addiction to drugs, and some serious drug abuse there. So it's a very fascinating and interesting story. I think that we all like to learn about sort of that lifestyle that many of us will never understand and know, being famous and rich, and what kind of a life and what kind of a personality develops when you get there, and all the things that can happen when you arrive. So Russell is kind enough to share his story, and he's done a tremendous change in his life by overcoming his addictions, and admits that it's still kind of a one day at a time process and something he focuses on all the time. So he has gone through the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, a very famous step program, but he really breaks it down into a way of understanding what those 12 steps are in a way that would make sense to somebody who's, number one, maybe not a spiritual person naturally, and talks about that it takes a certain amount of time to get through each step, and there's been different people who facilitated him moving through each step, and this sort of one step forward, two steps back in his whole journey. So I think that it's just an amazing story that, number one, he's so honest and frank with what it is that he went through, because it puts him into a very vulnerable position. But he's also poetic, and his language is incredible. The words he chooses to use to describe things, he's very articulate. It's just a very constantly interesting story. You understand where he is and what the environment looks like and how he's feeling, and the good and the bad and the ugly, and it's amazing. And he also does a really good job of explaining some of the different poignant people in his life that went along that journey with him, and also has a huge heart and compassion for how challenging it is and why we get to places like this, and that, it's can just be a part of human behavior, and some people are more susceptible than others. And anyways, I can't possibly do the whole story justice, but I think that's pretty amazing. If you have followed Russell over the course of his career, you can see him going from just a really funny comedian in very popular Hollywood movies to having all kinds of traumatic love affairs and marriages with different people that were really in the public eye, and now moving into a place of having a healthy marriage, and I believe he's got a child, and he talks a lot about building community and just about getting honest information from the media. And I don't know, he stands for a lot of things that I think a lot of people don't talk about now, and I feel like he's turned a lot of his negative energy into something that's really positive. And he supports people on an ongoing basis that have recovery issues and are trying to overcome addiction from a variety of different types of addiction. I think he's a pretty amazing person. So the book, it's a great read. It does not matter if you are trying to recover from something yourself or you have an addiction problem. It is interesting to know stories that happen like this to people, but I think that no matter who you are, you'll find a way to relate. There are many ways that we become addicted to things in life, whether that's through social media, needing to be constantly validated, or yes, maybe you're drinking too much, and maybe we don't all get to the same point of having a severe addiction where it's changing our lives, but we could all possibly head in that direction if we let something get out of hand. And so he is giving you the opportunity to sort of look at things through a different lens and a step-by-step process by putting humor into it and storytelling and bringing you along the journey, and asking you that if you do have issues and different problems, sort of how to seek help and some exercises and things you can do. So I really did enjoy the read, and I hope that you do too.